the limits don't lie in strength, but in the ability to maintain and adapt tactics to each situation. In every confrontation, the advantage doesn't belong to the strongest, but to the one who maintains the rhythm and controls the space better. In nature, the outcome is always determined by how each species adapts to its own limitations. On vast grasslands, African wild dogs maintain a very tight and stable pack structure. Each individual moves in unison, constantly adjusting their position to support one another. Their hunting tactics don't rely on individual strength, but on coordination and maintaining constant pressure. When approaching a target, the entire pack moves in a controlled manner, maintaining distance and waiting for the right moment. Pressure is gradually increased step by step, not creating a single attack, but rather a sustained one over time. They often target fast-running species such as impalas, gazelles, or the young of wildebeest and zebras, where the steady pursuit rhythm gradually slows the target. In their collective lifestyle, each individual has a clear role in the hunting process. Coordination helps control space and restrict the opponent's movement. This is the foundation of this species' high hunting efficiency. When the environment is still quiet, the impala maintains alertness to every small movement. Its quick perception allows it to detect danger very early and adjust its direction immediately. Its agile reflexes allow for continuous changes of direction without losing balance, creating an initial escape advantage. Instead of charging immediately, the wild dog maintains distance and observes to choose the right target to separate from the pack. The formation quickly divides roles. One group follows from behind, another moves to block the direction, and the rest maintain pressure. These close approaches are brief and then withdrawn, causing the impala's running pace to gradually lengthen and become unstable. As fatigue sets in, the impala begins to change direction more slowly and loses control of its movement. Space is reduced, and a safe distance is no longer maintained. The chase ended when the impala could no longer maintain its reflexes and keep a safe distance, while the wild dog maintained constant pressure. In a direct competitive environment, hyenas excel with their endurance and ability to maintain pressure over extended periods. They advance in controlled steps, utilizing their body mass and spatial control instincts to maintain an advantage. The pressure is maintained consistently, forcing any competitor approaching the area to react immediately. From a safe distance, wild dogs observe and maintain their rhythm before approaching. They move flexibly, constantly changing direction to avoid being locked into position. Individuals that deviate from the rhythm are attacked quickly and then retreated, preventing the pressure from settling at a single point. The balance begins to shift when the hyena's movement rhythm is disrupted. Control directions are no longer synchronized, and distance is no longer maintained consistently. The hyenas are forced to retreat, while the wild dogs maintain a continuous pace of close engagement. This is a type of confrontation with no clear finishing move, relying entirely on rhythm. When one side loses the ability to maintain the rhythm, all advantage disappears. Wild dogs maintain their advantage through discipline and synchronization throughout the entire process. In areas where lions are present, the surrounding space is quickly brought under control. Lions maintain their stalking instincts at close range, keeping their bodies low to avoid detection. They live in well-structured prides, allowing them to control space from multiple directions. The combination of concealment and coordination ensures that lions are always ready to react to any unusual movement. As soon as they detect the presence of a lion, wild dogs completely cease their hunting behavior and switch to escaping. They don't charge, but move in multiple directions, approaching and retreating repeatedly to create chaotic space. The pressure isn't aimed at a direct attack, but forces the lion to adjust its position and lose its pursuit advantage. The confrontation ends when the lion stops chasing and gradually retreats from the area. This isn't a sign of weakness, but rather a decision to avoid unnecessary energy expenditure. Wild dogs maintain their advantage by understanding when to approach and when to retreat. On open, dry land, the Oryx maintains composure and reacts quickly to any change. They always maintain a facing stance, control distance, and are ready to defend when necessary. This positioning forces the opponent to find ways to break the defensive rhythm. Instead of charging head-on, the wild dog approaches and then retreats, constantly changing angles to create pressure. This movement forces the Oryx to constantly turn and begin to lose its reaction rhythm. As the rhythm slows, approaches from behind gradually open up. The confrontation ends when the Oryx can no longer maintain a stable defensive rhythm. Space is controlled, and escape opportunities are no longer maintained. The wild dog wins by breaking the defense system over time. At familiar watering spots, crocodiles demonstrate an accurate ability to remember the movements of their prey. They hide, maintain a stable position, and wait for the right moment to act. This control of space makes any close approach risky. While drinking, a wild dog was momentarily off guard. From beneath the water's surface, the crocodile launched a swift attack, securing its weaker target. The pack of wild dogs didn't retreat immediately, signaling and moving around the area to provide support. The confrontation ended with the crocodile maintaining its positional advantage. While the pack of wild dogs were unable to change the course of events, support efforts were made but insufficient to reverse the situation. The crocodile maintained control, while the pack of wild dogs were forced to leave the watering spot. In open grassland environments, wildebeest move in large packs and maintain close spacing to minimize the risk of being separated. They maintain constant cohesion, creating a collective defense against any threat. The fleeing reflex is triggered almost instantly upon detecting unusual movement. From a distance, wildebeest observe and select individuals showing signs of deviating from the group rhythm. They approach from multiple directions, gradually applying pressure without directly attacking. Short, continuous attacks force the target to change direction multiple times. When the pack rhythm is broken, the target individual can no longer maintain a safe position within the group. The distance is widened, reflexes become slower, and they are easier to control. The chase ended when the wildebeest lost its connection with the pack, while the feral dogs maintained constant pressure. In harsh conditions, warthogs utilize available burrows to conserve energy and increase their chances of survival. They move in small groups, observing in multiple directions and reacting quickly to unusual signals. When foraging, warthogs kneel low, maintaining a stable center of gravity and ready to react. Their curved tusks are used as a close-range defense, maintaining a safe distance. Instead of charging head-on, the wild dog approaches and then withdraws, constantly changing angles to force the warthog to turn. Pressure is distributed in multiple directions, forcing the opponent to constantly change position. When a warthog is out of sync, the encirclement closes quickly and space is reduced. The confrontation ends when the warthog can no longer maintain its defensive rhythm and safe distance. The wild dog wins by correctly reading the movement and maintaining pressure over time. The limits don't lie in strength, but in the ability to maintain and adapt tactics to each situation. In every confrontation, the advantage doesn't belong to the strongest, but to the one who maintains the rhythm and controls the space better. In nature, the outcome is always determined by how each species adapts to its own limitations. On the vast savanna, every lion's attack begins with cold calculation and precise close-range maneuvering. The distance is closed in silence, and the final lunge often occurs in just a few short seconds. But not every brutal attack ends in the expected victory. It is in these recorded moments of failure that the true limits of predatory instinct become clearly revealed. Few species control space as well as elephants when their herds appear on the open grasslands. With their superior size and disciplined herd structure, each adult maintains a protective position for the young in the center. This synchronized defensive reflex creates an invisible boundary that every predator must be wary of before approaching. On the open grassland, a lioness lowers her body and advances slowly. She keeps close to the ground, stalking step by step, her eyes locked on a baby elephant standing near the edge of the herd. The distance narrows cautiously, and the lions behind maintain a supportive position. Tension begins to build as the intention to attack becomes clear. The elephant's reaction is almost instantaneous. The mother elephant turns, charging straight forward at incredible speed, her ears wide open to increase her field of vision and emitting a loud, threatening roar. The space in front of it was completely taken over. The lion pride, which had been so proactive, began to falter and disperse. The hunting attempt ended in seconds. The lion did not fail due to a lack of ability, but because the risks had exceeded acceptable limits. When a mother elephant decides to protect her calf, the balance of power can shift instantly. In nature, survival belongs to those who know when to stop before the price becomes too high. In the open expanse of the grassland, the pack of wild dogs maintained a stable formation instead of scattering in panic. They moved in tight arcs, each individual maintaining a reasonable distance and continuously emitting vocal signals to keep pace. The pressure wasn't explosive, but gradually increased, creating a palpable tension. The lioness observed in silence, keeping her body low and waiting for the opportune moment. Upon spotting a small gap at the edge of the pack, she suddenly accelerated, charging straight in with great decisiveness. One dog was separated from the formation, and for a brief moment, the initiative seemed to belong to the predator. The rhythm immediately changed. The pack of dogs turned around in unison, closing in from multiple directions with high speed and almost instantaneous reaction. The lion was forced to constantly maneuver to avoid being surrounded, and the prey it had just held was no longer under its control. The advantage it had just formed was quickly eroded. The encounter ended when the lion retreated to re-establish a safe distance. The pack of wild dogs quickly tightened their formation as before, leaving no further weaknesses exposed. This was a clear emotional shift from tension to reversal. In nature, just one well-coordinated collective reaction can change the entire course of events. The Oryx's long, straight horns were not just a distinguishing feature, but a precise and dangerous defensive weapon. When fully grown, each headbutt could generate enough force to inflict serious injury on a predator. Oryx didn't rely on speed to flee first, but rather on its ability to maintain position and control the direction of the confrontation. It was this instinct for direct confrontation that made many hunts so unpredictable. A group of lions approached in close coordination, moving in an arc to close the distance. They expected a numerical advantage and a quick overwhelm. When the gap was tightened, the lions charged simultaneously, trying to create an initial pressure strong enough to break the prey's stance. The Oryx didn't turn and run. It lowered its head, positioned its horns precisely, and launched a precise counterattack as soon as the distance narrowed. The counterattack forced the lions to dodge, disrupting the rhythm of the attack and breaking the initial coordination. In that single moment, the advantage of numbers began to diminish. The hunt ended when the pride of lions chose to retreat rather than risk approaching again. Oryx didn't win by sheer strength, but by its ability to inflict serious injury. In nature, a sufficiently dangerous weapon can completely alter a predator's decision. Baboons survive thanks to their tight-knit troop structure and rapid collective reaction to danger. Upon detecting a threat, the adults immediately move forward, forming a protective shield for the young behind them. Their long fangs are displayed as a clear warning signal, and this unity forces predators to reconsider before approaching. A lion crouches low, stalking from behind bushes, then suddenly lunges when it sees an opening. It expects the prey to panic and flee, as in typical hunts. But the targeted individual doesn't retreat. It stands still, bares its teeth, and advances straight ahead, forcing the lion to halt mid-attack. The moment the baboon didn't run changed the entire course of the game. The lion lost its momentum and chose to retreat to avoid the risk of a collective counterattack. The hunt failed not because of a lack of strength, but because the familiar scenario was disrupted from the very first moment of confrontation. Few grassland species maintain such close-knit herds as the buffalo. Each adult bears a pair of thick, sharp, curved horns, powerful enough to deliver a goring that can inflict serious injury. When one member of the herd is in danger, the reflex to turn and help occurs almost instantaneously. This collective structure makes any hunt inherently unpredictable. A lion has successfully closed in and is concentrating all its strength on its prey. The distance is almost under control, and the outcome seems to depend on the final seconds. Its attention is entirely focused on the target, ignoring movements at the edge of the herd. Suddenly, another buffalo charges forward at high speed, head lowered, horns pointing straight ahead. Immediately afterward, several other individuals advance, forming an overwhelming defensive mass in return. The lion was forced to constantly dodge to avoid being gored head-on, completely losing its attack rhythm. The initiative shifted to the buffalo herd in just a few brief moments. The hunt ended with the lion retreating passively. The defeat didn't stem from a lack of strength, but from a failure to control an unplanned situation. In nature, collective strength can reverse power faster than any single attack. During migration, wildebeest move in herds of thousands, maintaining close distances to reduce the risk of being separated. Besides their endurance on long journeys, each adult possesses a pair of strong, curved horns, capable of generating a powerful charge when cornered. This combination of herd instinct and the ability to counterattack directly makes them a formidable target. When a wildebeest temporarily slows down, the lion sees an opportunity. It accelerates recklessly, believing that a quick, close approach will bring it under control. The distance closes rapidly, and the chase seems to be nearing its end. But instead of continuing to run, the wildebeest suddenly turns around. It lowered its head and delivered a powerful headbutt, generating enough lift to dislodge the lion. The second lion tried to assist but bit in the wrong place, unable to lock down the fiercely resisting body. Just one initial counterattack reversed the entire situation. The attack ended when the lion was forced to retreat to avoid serious injury. The defeat didn't stem from a lack of strength, but from misjudgment and a lack of precise coordination. In nature, a single moment of miscalculation is enough to cause a predator to lose its advantage. It's not size, but the porcupine's sharp spines that are its true strength. When it senses danger, its long, stiff spines instantly stand up, turning its back into a defensive wall. The porcupine doesn't panic and run away, but turns its back to its opponent, positioning all its weapons precisely. A lion approaches and tries a light touch to probe. The porcupine bristles, maintaining its posture, forcing the lion to get closer if it wants to control the situation. Initial caution quickly turns into tension. When the distance narrows too much, the porcupine violently shakes its tail, making the spines on its back a direct threat. The lion recoils from the sharp pain and immediately loses its will to continue. Just one wrong approach is enough to reverse the advantage. The confrontation ends quickly when the lion retreats. Hedgehogs don't need to chase or retaliate aggressively. The mere risk of prolonged injury is enough to deter the predator. Antelopes live on open grasslands where danger can appear from any direction. Their vigilance is almost constant. Their light bodies and agile movements allow them to change direction in a short burst, and this reflex is fundamental to their survival. As the lion begins to close the distance, the tension increases significantly. Each acceleration is calculated to corner the antelope. At the decisive moment, the lion lunges with near-perfect precision. But in that very second, the antelope changes direction and leaps high, disrupting the entire pursuit trajectory. The lion loses its target lock and is forced to slow down because it cannot adjust in time. Just one timely reflex reverses the outcome, and the hunt ends almost instantly. Through each failed attack, the lion did not lose its position, but was forced to confront the realistic limits of risk. Nature does not grant victory to mere strength, but to the ability to adapt to unexpected variables. Just one advance by prey, one counterattack, or one well-timed reflex is enough to change the outcome. And it is in these moments of reversal that the true nature of survival is most clearly revealed.